Hello, my name is Danny, and I'm here to tell you some of the things that I learned from the nature, from science, and I want to link that with things I learned from the Bible, because in that way I can remember them better and I can understand them better as well. I hope you will do that too. So, for today, I want to start with a piece of a psalm. So I will start with the text of the Bible. It's taken from the book of Psalms, Psalm 68, and uh, and it reads like this: May God arise, may his enemies be scattered, may his foes flee before him. As smoke is blown away by the wind, may you blow them away. As wax melts before the fire, may the wicked perish before God. But may the righteous be glad and rejoice before God. May they be happy and joyful. Well, this is a psalm of David. And you probably know about David. David is a warrior. David was a hero. And he can defeat his enemies. But he often found himself being surrounded by his enemies. And that's when he wrote such a psalm like this, because he see his enemies coming from left, from right, from the front, from behind him. He felt surrounded, but he said, may God arise. And then his enemies, so his are also God's enemies. At least when you are in the side of God, then your enemies are also God's enemies. And Psalm says, and David says, may his enemies be scattered. So I want to imagine this psalm using a small science experiment using a bowl of water. Let's imagine that David is in the middle of this water, but his enemies are coming, and I'm using for his enemies a bottle of white pepper. So we'll see. There are enemies surrounding David. There are more enemies surrounding David. It's coming from left and right. So there are a lot of enemies there. And David is in the middle of it, and he was being surrounded. So let's see what happens when David calls on the name of the Lord. So I'm using a bottle of soap, dishwasher soap. So I'm going to dip this stick, representing the prayer of David that was heard by God. And God is coming to David in the middle of his enemies. Let's see what happened. Wow! His enemies scattered. With God, together with David, all his enemies pulled away. So, isn't it interesting? Well, the scientific explanation is that on the surface of the water there's a tension, and the soap breaks the tension. Just like when you break a balloon, then it explodes and everything goes away. And that's what happened with the tension on the water. It pulls away. But let's not worry too much about the scientific explanation. The thing that we can remember is that when we are surrounded, when things are difficult around us, but you pray to God and you are on the God's side, then your prayer is being heard. And suddenly, your enemies are scattered. Your problems are solved. And you see the way out together with God. Have fun.